All right, welcome back to the channel. Really good news this morning in the sport of boxing. We're going to talk about Jermall Charlo, Canelo Alvarez, and a fight for undisputed at 168 pounds. Let's talk about that and what we think will happen in that fight and the roadblocks to the fight being made in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. I am very happy to be making this video. It is a video that I get to actually speak highly of Canelo Alvarez and Eddie Reynoso and their decision making like I have not been able to do in a while. But before I do that, please make sure that if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon. And also, we have a special gift for people. Sponsor BUSR. You can go to busr.ag/Fanon. Use the promotional code Fanon. And if you bet $10, if you deposit $10 and make a $10 bet on a sporting event, you will be entered into a raffle, and I will absolutely name the person that gets an additional $500. So special promotion going on right now. You'll see it down here. Go down there and get your rewards at busr.com. So busr.ag, excuse me. All right, so let's get into this, man. Canelo Alvarez, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. He is, according to Mike Coppinger, he is hearing that most likely that Jermall Charlo and Canelo Alvarez will be fighting May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, for, I do believe, the 168-pound championship. And I got to tell you, that is the best move that Canelo Alvarez can make. It's also something that Jermall Charlo deserves. And in my opinion, it is actually one of the best legacy moves that Canelo Alvarez can make for his career. Not only all of that, but also one of the best fights that they can give to boxing fans in the sport of boxing. Up until recently, when it seemed like Canelo Alvarez had moved so far past middleweight that that a lot of these fights couldn't happen, people pretty much knew, and when he was at 154 pounds and when he was at 160 pounds, that the fight with Jermall Charlo was a good fight to make, and it was a fight that a lot of people believe that he should make. Now, I'm going to tell you why I believe he should make that, why he should make that fight, and also what I think should happen in that fight. The reason that he should make that fight is because Jermall Charlo is a contemporary of his. He is somebody that is in his same age range and somebody that has been in his same weight classes for the man's entire career since he came to the United States. Not when he was 15 years old or whatever, 16, 17-year-old fighting fights in Mexico. But since he was a champion at 150, a WBA champion at 154 pounds, until now, Jermall Charlo's been a professional. He's been a champion at two of the four weight classes that Canelo Alvarez has been in, and he has not fought them. Now, as much as the media likes to, pump up people for a lot of different accomplishments, and I'm going to be fair, they are most definitely accomplishments. Becoming undisputed at 168 pounds is an accomplishment. Becoming a champion and beating Sergey Kovalev at 175 pounds is an accomplishment, right? However, just because you accomplish one thing doesn't mean that you've gotten everything done that you're supposed to get done. And as far as guys that who are in the same age range as him, who are roughly in the same skill range as him, and by that I mean upper echelon fighters, Canelo Alvarez in his age range has not fought them. What he had done was he fought older fighters, right? He fought Shane Mosleys. He fought, Eris Landy Laras. He fought Austin Trouts. He fought, guys like that who had good names, who were good fighters, but not guys that are in his same age range of fighters they were guys that were pretty much a little bit past their prime pretty much a little bit past it, with the exception of Erislandy Lara. In a fight, I think he lost. Those guys were past their prime, or he was fighting guys that had belts, but guys that had belts that really were not in his skill range. Guys like Callum Smith, guys like Billy Joe Saunders, even Danny Jacobs, especially Danny Jacobs. And actually, I think Danny Jacobs didn't come to compete. I think he came to pick up a paycheck. But those guys were not necessarily in his skill range. With guys like Demetrius Andrade and Jermall Charlo, the question is, are they in his skill range? Because people can point to what have they done, what have they blah blah blah. But the fact of the matter is, they're 2 weight division champions. Demetrius Andrade won a title at 154, and he won a title at 160 pounds. And he was undefeated at 154. He was undefeated at 160. Jermall Charlo, same thing. He was a champion at 154 pounds, undefeated champion at 154. He's the undefeated champion at 160 pounds. So when the same arguments that a lot of people used to justify the fights with Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders, right, and praising Canelo Alvarez, those are the same. Jermall Charlo and Demetrius Andrade have done the same thing as Billy Joe Saunders, as Callum Smith, and actually more than Callum Smith, because both of those guys are, specifically, Jermall Charlo is a 2-weight class division. He's a 2-weight class champion. And he's a guy that people have been talking about a fight being made for years. So, man, I'm excited about it. And it will, for me, if he beats Jermall Charlo, fights Jermall Charlo, and beats Jermall Charlo, I'm telling you, that should silence a lot of critics. It's not going to silence a lot of critics about, like, the performance-enhancing drugs. That is, that's just where that is. That's not going to go anywhere. He tested positive for it. He's a big muscle-bound guy now. So people are going to say that. It's not going to go away with that. But as far as, him basically taking a bunch of cherry picks and taking a bunch of easy guys, easy European, I was going to say Eastern European, but they're not Eastern European, easy, European fighters, and guys that are pushovers, even what they were talking about him doing with Makabu, going up to cruiserweight, right? Just things that people aren't asking for you to do, right? I think with this fight with Jermall Charlo, if they make it, that should make a lot of that stuff go away, especially if he really dominates Jermall Charlo. But I will say that for all the people that are Canelo Alvarez fans, it is time for you to turn off your hate on Jermall Charlo button. Okay, because because all of this time that you've been talking about, he's absolutely nothing. He looked bad against this guy, Montiel. He couldn't do this. He looked bad against all of that stuff. If Canelo Alvarez actually turns out and fights him, it's going to be hard for you to turn all of that around and all of a sudden praise him for beating Jermall Charlo. Personally, I'm going to be very, very happy if the fight gets made. If he beats Jermall Charlo, I'm going to be very impressed, because Jermall Charlo is a top-notch fighter. He may not be a Hall of Fame fighter, but he is a very good fighter. And I'm telling you, Jermall Charlo has been watching Canelo Alvarez, has been planning for Canelo Alvarez for a very long time, man. And he has something that a lot of the fighters that Canelo has been fighting have not had pretty much since Gennady Golovkin has fought, and that is a lot of power in both hands. A very powerful jab, a very powerful right hand, a powerful left hook. The man can absolutely crack. So there's going to be something there for, and he's a lot faster than Jermall. He's a lot faster than Gennady Golovkin. But I think that this is going to be pretty much the best fight that has been made for Canelo Alvarez. Obviously, the best fight has been made for Canelo Alvarez since Gennady Golovkin, and it might be the most difficult fight for Canelo Alvarez since he fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. But man, I'm telling you, man, I'm happy about it. I'm glad that that I know there probably are talks about him moving up to fight Caleb Plant and all that, but man, if Canelo Alvarez is trying to make that guaranteed $40 million on pay-per-view like he did last time, dude, Jermall Charlo is a lot better ticket than Makabu is. So anyway, and all of that pushback, hopefully if this happened, that means that they're actually listening to and taking fans serious about what they want. And I got to respect that. So anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.